Welcome to Be Encouraged. Join me on this heart-healing journey as we learn to navigate life's ups and downs. This is a safe space where you'll be uplifted while learning to uplift others. Hey everybody, welcome back. I just want to say thank you to everybody who tapped in, listened, watched, followed, subscribed, whatever y'all did from episode 1. Thank y'all. I got so much feedback, and I'm so excited for this episode because I really feel like everything that I experienced over the last week or so has pretty much led me up to this episode. So yeah, let's just get into it. I think this week really showed me how God works in, I wouldn't even say mysterious ways, but just how he really prepares you and equips you for things that he calls you to do. And this project is probably one of the biggest obstacles I've had because I felt so unprepared going into it. Like I had all these reasons why I could not achieve it, why I couldn't do it. And, it made me think a lot of times we are our biggest critics, and we tend to focus on things that we lack instead of paying attention to the things that we can do. And I think that's what God does when he calls us to something, because he's like, I know I created you. I know what you're capable of. So I need you to do it. But in our mind, we're like, no, I can't do this and I can't do that. And for me, it was more of like, I'm a procrastinator and, I don't know how to finish things, and I'm not good on camera, and I don't like my voice. And I had this long list, y'all. And I prayed and I was like, God, I need the drive. I need the motivation. I need you to do something. And he gave it to me in the form of just feeling detached. I felt so detached from everything around me. I lost passions for a lot of the things that I like to do. And so it really just pretty much pushed me into this. And so when I did it, I was really excited because I was like, okay, got my little episode down. And I think what made it better for me was New Year's Eve. We went to my brother's, and, we're hanging out with my brother, and it's me, our family, his siblings. And so his friends come over, and we're all just talking, and his sister asked me about the podcast, and I'm just talking to her about it. And his friend, I promise y'all, I just met that lady. Just met that lady maybe 45 minutes prior to this. And she's like, oh, you're doing a podcast? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, that makes sense for you. And I was like, what do you mean that makes sense, girl? You don't even know me. And she was like, no. She's like, because when I came in, you were just so welcoming, and you just seemed so easy to talk to. And she was just describing all these things about me. But mind you, I don't know this lady. And it was very shocking, but it was also very confirming because this lady does not know me. She knows my name. And for her to see that in me from just this initial interaction, and for her to, pull out her phone and go to YouTube and subscribe and to follow me on all the platforms, and just based off of that one interaction really let me know that God had already equipped me for this, because the person that I am around people is just my personality. Not nothing I learned, really anything. I was born like this, and so it really just, I don't know, y'all, it did something to me a little bit. And it wasn't in more of it made my head big or anything like that. It was just very comforting because I'm like, okay, so I can do this. I already have the tools to do this. All I have to do is work on my procrastination, work on, finishing. And so even after episode 1, people at work are like, oh my God, I loved your podcast. I'm getting feedback after feedback. I'm even getting people like, hey, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? And even people wanting to join me. And it was so refreshing to know that I am able, I am capable. So I had to really step back and say, just say to myself, like, stop beating yourself up. Stop worrying about what you can't do or what you feel like you lack or what your flaws may be. Like, that's okay to understand them, but do not allow them to stop you from going for something that you are already equipped to do. And I was praying the other night and I'm just like, Lord, what can I do to be better for myself? What can I do to motivate myself? Because I can listen to as many motivational speeches and talk to as many people and do whatever I can do, but nobody is going to be able to pour into me like I can. And it was just on my heart. He was telling me, check your resume. Check your resume. And I'm like, okay, what did that mean? And I started thinking, like, when you go into a job interview, when they're checking your resume, they're not looking for what you can't do. They're not looking for your weaknesses on there. They're looking for experience. They're looking for your, certifications. They're looking for references, like things that you have done. They're looking for the stuff you can do. They're not worried about what you can't do. Their main focus is, what can this person do? And I feel like we don't do that a lot of times with ourselves. We don't, instead of saying, what have I done? Let me look back and see all these things that I've accomplished. Let me look back and see all the experiences that I've had, the people that I've touched, where do I hold value? And I think if you take the time to remind yourself of what you can do, you'll have such a different perspective. And then you also have to stop measuring your accomplishments and measuring yourself on a scale of how much have I done versus what have I done. Because you can do 50 things that mean absolutely nothing versus doing 5 things that mean the world to somebody, And I think that it becomes easier to measure, based on quantity versus quality. And of course, it's being, I don't want to say it's being normalized, but I don't think it's being talked about enough that we cannot put value on something. Just because it comes easy to you doesn't necessarily mean that the person that you were helping doesn't find that interaction valuable. A lot of people tell me, I hear this all the time, that I'm so easy to talk to. And to me, like, empathy is so easy to me. Like, I literally don't judge nobody. People talk to me. People volunteer so much information that I wish they didn't, but they do. And to me, it's easy. Like, it's nothing to me. But to them, like, that one interaction meant so much to them. And you never know what you're doing for people. So we have to understand, even though the things that we are doing may come easy to us or may seem small to us, it's big to somebody else. And so when you look back on the things that you do, kind of take those things to heart, because when somebody tells you, what you did for them meant the world, or they're over complimenting you about something small that you did, take that, because that means that their interaction with you held value. And then also, too, I think we need to stop measuring ourselves up against other people, and stop measuring ourselves, especially against people who are doing the same thing that we're doing, right? Like, because in my mind, I'm like, it's just, my podcast is just another podcast, right? But also, I have to realize there's no other Ariana. Nobody can do what I do. Just like I can't do what somebody else does. But that's okay, because we were all created to be in our lane. There are people you are supposed to touch along the way. And if you are trying to jump into somebody else's lane, you're going to miss that person. You're going to miss that opportunity that was created specifically for you, because you're so focused on trying to be in another lane. And I think we have to normalize being okay with staying in your lane. You don't have to do, all these things. You could literally do one thing. Like, I use this comparison all the time, but people talk about Cane's only have like 4 menu items. They don't gotta have more than 4 menu items because they making their money. They don't have to cross over and start selling fish sandwiches or wings, because they are staying in their lane, the lane that they were created for. Same thing with Chick-fil-A. I don't care what nobody say. Like, even if Chick-fil-A is overrated, if that's how you feel, cool. But they can stay in their lane. They don't have to open on Sundays because they make their money Monday through Saturday. They are staying in their lane and they're interacting and they're hitting all the marks that they're supposed to hit because they're in their lane. They don't have to cross over and start doing other things because they're staying in their lane. And I feel like people have to be okay with it. And you have to be okay with saying, no, I'm going to just stick with this. I'm going to do this because this is where I'm supposed to be. Don't let people think that you should start doing other stuff or juggling so many things because you want to hit everybody. No, the people and the opportunities that you're going to hit by staying in your lane are going to be meant for you and are going to put you in positions that doing 45 other things would never do. And just to circle back, but I say that to say, like, stay in your lane and remember who you are. Remember what you're accomplishing. Remember what you're fighting for. Remember what you can do. And remember what you have done. Because I feel like that's going to give you such a perspective of yourself and such a confidence that you're not going to be shakeable. You're not going to be movable. You're not going to be easily persuaded. None of these things. You're going to be able to be authentically yourself. And remember that this is you. This is you. This is your lane. This is where you're supposed to be. Be yourself. Don't try to look at what other people are doing and try to be like, okay, well, I need to do this. No. Be you, because there's only one you. And while you're doing that, don't forget to cheer for those around you. Because I feel like a lot of times when we start measuring ourselves and start trying to be like other people, we forget to cheer for the people around us. Because you're in your waiting season and you feel like, oh, because me and this person are doing the same thing, I should be there too. No, it's not your time. It's not your time, and that's okay. But while you are waiting for your time, cheer for this person. Congratulate them. Promote them. Help them. Because then when your time comes, then they'll cheer for you. And it's not in a point of like, kind of tit for tat type thing. But I believe that when you are able to cheer for others while you are in your waiting season, you are going to reap what you sow because you are planting a seed. You are planting a seed in that person because if they can see, oh, well, her stuff haven't even taken off and she's still able to, cheer for me. She's still able to be genuinely happy for me. You are planting a seed and you're going to reap those benefits, whether it be now, whether it be later, but you will reap those benefits. And I truly believe that a lot of times envy plays a huge part in people, being unable to do that. Like envy allows you to say, okay, well, I'm not winning, so I'm not going to cheer for them winning because that's supposed to be me. It is going to be you, just not right now. And that's okay. And that's okay. Sometimes we have to wait. And I think also in your waiting season, when you start to see other people doing what you're doing or what you have already aspired to do, I feel like in that moment, you take those time to learn. You learn and you make connections and you plant seeds because when it's your time to go, you never know how fast you're going to take off. You don't know what you're going to do. So if you spend all that time being envious and being bitter, you're going to miss your mark. You're going to miss your opportunity. So stay in your lane, pour into yourself. Pour into yourself so much that you have more to give to those around you. And I feel like if you really just remind yourself of what God has already promised you, especially if he's already told you to do something, you have to believe and understand that it's going to come to pass. So if you spend the whole 3 months of your waiting season crying and talking about, oh, this is not going to happen and this not going this, it's not going that, instead of planning and being strategic about it, you're going to miss the opportunity and then you're going to spend another 3 months waiting. Now you've done wasted 6 months doing nothing, right? So just to kind of, I guess, summarize, you have to, one, stop beating up on yourself. Remind yourself what you can do, right? Pour into yourself. Get up every day and just pour into yourself and remind yourself of all that you've accomplished. And then remember that your accomplishments and your traits are unique to you. Nobody else can do what you do. Nobody else can say what you say. Nobody else can touch people the way that you do. And then in the meantime, cheer for those around you. Plant seeds. Offer advice. Whatever you can do. Be even just being a listening ear. Do those things. And then when your time comes, you're going to be so filled up. You're going to be so filled up with just love and empathy and grace and all these things that you've learned along the way. You're going to be more than ready for the opportunity when it presents itself. And then at that point, you will then fulfill God's promise to you to be in a space that, one, he created you for. And you're going to touch the people that you need to. You're going to add value to the lives of those who you need to. And it may not be a large group of people. It may not be 100,000 followers. It could just be 1,000. But that 1,000 people, they hold you and they value you in a way that, that you don't even know. So just continue to operate in that and just continue to just remind yourself of what you can do. This week, that's what I need everybody to do. Constantly remind yourself of what you can do. And take heed to the value that you bring to those around you. Even if it seems small, even if it doesn't even, seem like something big, remember that people value you. Yeah. So that's all I got for y'all this week. But I really want to thank everybody again for listening. And I pray that somebody finds value in the things that I say, because I know I just be sitting here yapping. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited for y'all to listen and to watch and just to see how I grow in this whole process, because I never thought I'd be on camera anywhere. Like, I'm always like a behind the scenes person. I'm like, if I ever do this, I'll put this person in front. Like, no, God said, you finna be in front. You're going to be front and center. And I'm no longer scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not scared no more, because I'm more excited because of the way people are receiving me. People are reaching out. They're like, hey, I really love what you said. Can I come on? And people are even just asking me questions. And it's not that I can fix nobody's life. I can't. But if I can encourage you along the way, because we are all in this together. Anything that I ever talk about on here, I promise y'all I'm either going through it at the moment or I've gone through it. I think a lot of my topics also are very self-reflecting, because I am going through new stages in life. Nothing about my life is perfect and already well put together. It's being put together. And I think that's what helps me be so authentic and transparent, because I need help just as much as y'all probably do. So if I can encourage you during my downtime and during the time where I feel like I need it, then we gonna make something shake. So I will see y'all next week. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, listen, watch, whatever y'all want to do. But I hope y'all interact, and thank y'all for joining me today. Thank you for tuning in to Be Encouraged. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you stream your favorite podcast.